Uyanda Siyotula, National Coordinator of SOS Support Public Broadcasting Coalition, joins us for more on this conversation. A very good evening to SABC Group CEO, saying there that we have to do this in an according fashion, that it has to be one that is done with a lot of caution, and it can't just happen overnight. What is your reaction to this? I mean, this has been a conversation that's been ongoing for so long, dithering and delays for a while now.
We do echo, the SABC sentiments on this matter. As the SOS Coalition, we've been involved in this process for a very long time, and I think one of the things that we have been fighting for is really the fact that this particular broadcasting digital migration process needs to be implemented in a way that ensures that nobody is left behind, but also in a way that ensures that people continue to have access to information. And I think government has had a very long time to ensure that it does things accordingly, but they have dismally failed. And now we're at a point where they want to switch off regardless of the impact that this is going to have on broadcasters and the nation, and the millions of citizens that need to have access to information in order for them to be able to make informed decisions.
And of course, we cannot disregard the ripple effect, the viewership losses when it comes to the SABC. 27% is a substantial amount, cutting off 4 million households. That is a number that will really make a big impact when it comes to revenue at the SABC.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that the SABC relies on commercial revenue. I think about 80% of its revenue comes from, the commercial streams. And if they lose audiences, then they lose that revenue. And we know that the SABC is already in a financial state. It actually does need to be supported. And I think this is not one way of supporting it. This is, going to cause an existential threat to the SABC, because, how do we know that the SABC will be able to survive this? We know that back in 2022, when it lost about 40% of its audiences, the loss amounted to about R1 billion. We need our government to start supporting the SABC, to start seeing the value of having a public broadcaster that is financially sustainable and independent and able to function and fulfill its public mandate.
And what are your expectations? I mean, with the deadline looming, the 31st of March is, just a matter of days away.
Yeah, I mean, it is devastating, but we have joined ETV together with Media Monitoring Africa on the urgent application to postpone the analog switch off. We're just hoping that the High Court will heed, our call and really, make a ruling that actually, prioritizes the public interest and also the sustainability of free-to-air television, because I think this is what this whole premature analog switch off is going to cause. It's going to cause a devastating impact on access to free-to-air television.
And in terms of a way forward, I mean, in terms of rethinking this approach, and we've heard countless times that it cannot be avoided. This is a switch over that cannot be avoided. In the interim, what are the kind of conversations that need to take place?
Yeah, and I think, in fact, that is one of the reasons, because there are no conversations that are taking place. I think there needs to be like a broad industry consultation where the broadcasters are consulted, but together with organizations like ourselves that, work in the public interest, so that we're able to sit at the table and, actually review, the implementation of the, digital terrestrial television. But I think the other conversation is also seeing if DTT is still fit for purpose. We also have a policy that is outdated, that was last amended, I think, in 2012. So there is a lot of conversations to say, 15 years later, is this still, feasible? Is this what, South Africa actually needs? And to also just look at other options, such as ensuring that there is, access to the internet, because that's also another option to ensure that people continue to have access to information. I think what we are saying is the SOS Coalition is that, we we're not saying, do not switch off. We're saying do not switch off unless people have been migrated to the alternative. And that alternative could also be ensuring that there is access to the internet so that people continue to, to have access to information.